2026 has been a weird and interesting year. We've had pop stars renting out entire arenas just to get married. We sent astronauts around the moon for the first time in over 50 years. And we had dudes punching dudes on the White House lawn legally. Gaming has somehow been even weirder. Some games absolutely shattered expectations. Others completely fumbled. And somehow, Nintendo is sitting here with a legitimate Game of the Year contender. What the f? Alright, let me explain. 2026 has been so weird for gaming because the biggest what if of the last 5 years is actually happening. GTA 6 is launching. No, seriously, it's actually launching with a real release date and there is no going back now. I hope. Everyone has basically put all their eggs in the GTA basket. The attitude has been, everything else doesn't matter. Well, GTA 6 might still win Game of the Year, but there have been some pretty impressive games so far, and I would be doing a disservice to not mention them in this video. Today, we're breaking the year into 4 categories. 1, the surprises. 2, the flops. 3, my honorable mentions. 4, the best of 2026. Let's jump in. Part 1, the surprises. These games shook up the scene this year, came out of left field and are here to stay. Surprises come in many shapes, sizes, and, colors? Meccha Chameleon. Meccha Chameleon came out of nowhere, the latest in the quote, party slop genre. BTW, I hate that term. Some games are just fun. Meccha Chameleon was built by 2 developers in just 2 months and sold over 13 million copies. And honestly, good for them. A simple game of hide and seek, community-created maps, and top streamers discovering it was all it took for this game to take off. Did anybody actually expect Meccha Chameleon to explode like this? Slay the Spire 2. The sequel to Slay the Spire, many people's pinnacle of roguelike deck builders, came out and sold roughly 7 million copies. And it is technically still in early access, which means they could pull a PAL world and add like 40% more content by the time it releases. It takes everything the original did well and somehow makes it even better to create an even more engaging experience with an equally great story. Pokemon Pokopia. Last and certainly not least, Pokopia was a global phenomenon for a few months, similar to Animal Crossing back in 2020. And they didn't even have a pandemic to help them out. This game was extremely engaging and fun. Who knew during the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, the only game we would get from them is Pokopia, and somehow, it's become a legitimate Game of the Year contender. Part 2, the flops. Of course, not every game knocked it out of the park. These games unfortunately fell short of expectations. They weren't quite able to make it to where they could have been with a little more time in the oven. Some of these are not bad games, but when you have a bad launch, it tends to not go over well. Unless you're CD Projekt Red, then all is forgiven because Keanu Reeves. Highguard. When you get the last slot at the Game Awards and you lead with from creators of Titanfall and Apex Legends, you better be Titanfall 3. If you're not, then you're just Highguard. Honestly, I thought the game was decent the first time I played it. My first game was after the day 3 or 4 patch and was enjoying the game, but at that time it was already too late. Today, the expectation is so high that if you don't meet most, then you automatically fail. I never want to see a game fail. I want games to be good, otherwise we only have Call of Duty and Pokemon left. Sadly, Highguard had everything against it and not much for it, and shut down in just 45 days. Code Violet. This was a bummer. I remember seeing this game's trailer and was like, whoa, that looks cool, only to find out a few days after launch that it was half the game it was supposed to be and had so many performance bugs that it wasn't even worth installing. With Metacritic scores that are some of the worst in the last 10 years, Code Violet should have been scrapped or taken longer to turn pink. Saros. This one was surprising to me. When doing my research, I played the demo for this game and it was fun. I am just not a huge roguelike kind of guy, but this game has reportedly only sold around 300,000 copies. And if this was a smaller company, I'd say that's a good release. But this was a Sony-published product that was in every ad for them, and it didn't perform for a profit. I wouldn't say the game flopped hard from a gameplay perspective, but I'm sure Sony was expecting more. Marathon. Usually I stop at 3 in my categories, but this game deserves a special spot. Sony and Bungie killed the franchise in Destiny, one of the most beloved in gaming today, by the way, to set aside time and budget for this game. The gameplay itself isn't bad. I played it, I liked it. It was fun. But fix the hacker situation. It's unplayable right now. And personally, visually, I think it looks very meh. It's just so much neon man. Enough is enough. Bungie and Sony made this game and then stopped caring after release. Oh, and they lost $760 million on it. Rant over. Marathon's second biggest flop of 2026 behind Highguard. Part 3. Honorable mentions. Enough ranting. Back to our happy place. These are games that are good games but didn't quite make the surprises or best of 2026 so far. Tomodachi Life. People have waited forever for Tomodachi Life, and it delivered. A great game for families to play with their kids, to have moments that'll last forever, while also being hilarious for other couples and friend groups to bond over with its Mad Libs-like gameplay. It has sold very well, and that's another Nintendo game on the list. Forza Horizon 6. The latest entry in the Forza series brought us to Japan, and my goodness is it beautiful. Smooth controls and a lot of content. The only thing holding this game back is the festival events aren't there yet. This franchise continues to lead the charge with the best physics-based racing controls, and this is another great open-world racer from the series. Coming off the high of Horizon 5, the best game in the series, it just isn't quite there for the best of 2026 so far. LEGO Batman: Legacy of the Dark Knight. The LEGO series has been fun, and I'm sure they will continue the trend for these games, but it's just kind of gotten old at this point for me. It's one of the best couch co-op games you can play with your significant other, especially if you love Batman, and will be fun with the kids too. But it's not unique enough to add to my best of 2026 so far list. What's your favorite LEGO series video game? And to be clear, I think these are great games and deserve to be talked about. I by no means think they are bad. All in all, these games either have their niche or are trying to live up to the previous game's bar. Still great, but not quite the best.
Because he is Satoru Gojo, of course.
Oh wrong video. Anyway, these are the games that I think are the best of 2026 so far. You can disagree with me, but you're wrong, and it takes a strong guy to admit that, but I believe in you. Number 3. 007 First Light. Getting to play a young James Bond was exactly what I wanted from a modern Bond game. The gameplay was smooth, with the player having the choice of being stealthy or going in guns blazing. This is the first of a 3-game franchise, and I think kicks off James Bond, the video game character, in the best way we've seen in over 20 years. 007 is at number 3 because it does feel like some content was missing from the release, like it wasn't quite ready, that they are adding later. Unsure if it's a marketing thing to bring people back at some point or they just needed more time for these. Still a great game. Number 2, Crimson Desert. For me, this was a little bit of a roller coaster at first. I love the exploration here. It is such a vast and beautiful world with so much in it. However, the initial controls pissed me off so much, thank God they fixed it. That aside, these devs have been tuned into the community, making major changes and adding content almost every week for the first 2 months after release, and they have sold over 6 million copies so far. Crimson Desert is so good, it's not quite The Witcher 3 or RDR2 level of RPG, but it's damn close. I know this is my channel and video, so I am allowed bias, and personally, I would put this at my midway game of the year. But I truly believe this next game is the most deserving. Number 1, Resident Evil Requiem. Confession time. I've never played a Resident Evil game, so you're probably wondering why it's my number 1. Simple. I can respect an incredible game even if it's not usually my genre. The other thing is how well optimized it is. This was a fantastic release across all platforms. From Switch 2 to PC, it ran great across the board and sold extremely well. When you have that mix of gameplay, performance, soundtrack, and story, you have a great recipe for success. That's why it's my number 1 so far. Am I crazy for putting Resident Evil at number 1? Wrapping up, 2026 has had one of the hardest flops ever and also some really fun games, and we have a lot more dropping in the next 4 months. Personally, I am disappointed in the FPS games that came out this year. Honestly, I don't want them to fail, but I also want the game to be good. RPG fans have been eating well this year, And there are so many other indies of varying genres that have been great. Safe to say, it's been a bit of a roller coaster for the gaming community so far this year. We've had incredible surprises, brutal disappointments, and somehow, the best is still ahead of us. There are some absolute bangers coming out in the coming months that you won't want to miss. Tune in next week when we talk about what's left for 2026. And if you want to know the best games of August, check my last video for that. What is your game of the year so far in 2026? Are there any games I missed in this video? Let me know in the comments below. Looking forward to seeing what y'all say. If you like talking about games and playing games, maybe getting a good sniff in there, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.